Am I audible?
Yes, you are very much audible.
Okay. A very good evening to all the just a sec. A very good evening to the speaker and all the parliamentarians present in the meeting today. Today, I, the Minister of Power, Renewable Energy, Atomic Energy, Petroleum and Gas, is here to present the budget in front of you all. Introducing the team member, we have Prachi Dhama, I, Shakshi, and Vansh. When we talk about energy, a question which comes to our mind is that why renewable energy? When we talk about renewable energy, it is a transition to clean energy. It is a huge economic opportunity. India is particularly well placed to become a global leader in the renewable batteries and green hydrogen. These and other low carbon technologies could create a market worth up to $80 billion in India by 2030. Moving forward, when we talk about the budget allocation we have, now, the budget is made by keeping in mind the concern for the climate. Climate action and sustainability have been a key topic of discussion as well as implementation, especially in the later years or the last years, not just in the country but on various global platforms as well as that of G20, World Economic Forum, etc. People have discussed, the world leaders have discussed about the changes happening in the climate. Our budget will not only help India to grow economically, but also will help it to contribute in bringing down the changes, the negative impacts going in the climate. When we talk about the renewable energy, what comes in our mind and in our budget first is the green hydrogen. It would facilitate the transition of the economy to low carbon intensity, reduce dependence on fossil fuel, import, and make the country assume technology and market leadership in the sunrise sector. Our target is to make each an annual production of 5 MMT by 2030. Rupee 400 crores will be spent on developing green hydrogen hubs in a country which needs to be done. Rupee 400 crores will be spent on developing the hydrogen hubs as well as training the people to work there. Moving ahead, we have the second, solar energy, the most important one. This year budget allocate rupee 5,331.5 crore for the solar power sector, including grid and off-grid projects. Rupee 1,946.46 crore was allocated for solar energy under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha even Uttan Mahavaya PM Kusum scheme, which was launched in the year 2019. One of the component of the scheme is to install 17.5 lakh standalone solar agriculture pumps in off-grid areas, while another component aims to solarize 10 lakh grid-connected agriculture pumps, while the National Institution of Solar Energy received as 54 crore in the budget, which was 9 crore from the last year, rupee 45 crore. Moving forward, we talk about the hydropower, one of the main renewable energy present in the world today. And India has a great potential to work on it and to make it. The program for wind and other renewable energy received rupee 1,245 crore compared to the previous year rupee 1,102 crore, of which hydropower off-grid and on-grid received rupee 31 crore. After this, we have petroleum and gas. We have to make India a country which don't have to depend on the other nation for the petroleum or the gas product. For this, the budget provides rupee 35,000 crore for priority capital investment toward energy transition and net zero objective. I repeat, absolutely not a net zero objective. And energy security by Ministry of Petroleum. And natural gas, this comes as India focus on a cleaner and more cleaner economy and aims to achieve a net zero emission goal by the 2070. I would like to mention that our budget is made by keeping in mind that India in future, in the next 10 years or by 2070 will become one such country over which people will look, the other countries will look as an ideal. Now, moving forward, the union budget for 2023-24 will dot out rupee 30,000 crore to state-owned fuel regulators to make up for the massive losses they can decrease by holding petrol and diesel price despite rising cost in a bid to help the government contain initiative. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has allocated the money under the head capital support to all marketing components. Now, when we talk about petroleum and the gas, it offered no explanation why the blue chip. I mentioned it offered no explanation why the blue chip cash rise oil fields need capital support holding prices when input cost was higher than the retail selling price. Again, I would like to highlight this point when the cost was higher than the retail selling price, led to the three firms posting net earning loss. They posted a combined net loss of rupee 21,201.18. Would like to highlight this rupee 21,201.18 crore during the April September despite accounting for rupee 22,000 crore announced but not paid LPG subsidy for the past 2 years. Now, at the end, we have to talk about the atomic energy in which India has to grow. Now, NPCIL, India's sole nuclear power plant operator, on Wednesday received an allocation of rupee 9,410 crore in the union budget for 2023-24. As it set out to ramp up atomic power generation capacity in the country, the allocation to the Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited (NPCIL) was an increase of rupee 2,859 crore, more than 45% over the revised estimate of rupees 6,551 crore of the current fiscal. In addition to the budgetary allocation, the NPCIL will waive an additional rupee 12,863 crore, brought internal and extra budget resources, which constitute resources raised by the POS through the profit, loans, and equity. The other public sector companies under the Department of Atomic Energy, India Rare Earth Limited, will get rupee 120.30 crore. Uranium Corporation of India Limited will get rupee 59.82 crore, and the Electronics Corporation of India Limited will get rupee 15 crore during the fiscal year of 2024. Now, here is a quick summary of the budget. In the energy PM Kusum scheme, we would like to ask for rupee 1,996.46 crore, whereas when we talk about the solar project, we would like to demand for rupee 4,000 crore. Wind green project are demanding rupee 1,214 crore. National Green Hydrogen Mission, an important mission to help in the economy, is demanding rupee 297 crore. In a total, we are demanding for rupee 7,507 crore. Thank you. Have a great.
I would now like to call forward the opposition, Arnav Dalvi and team to ask questions. Arnav Dalvi and team. Anyone else would like to ask questions?
I would like to ask one question.
Please go forward.
I would like to ask one question.
Please go forward.
Yes. You have told that in the previous year also, and in the present year also, our India is still growing in the atomic power.
Repeat your voice? Sorry for interrupting. Could you repeat your question from the very beginning? Your voice was fluctuating.
You have told that in the previous year also and in the present year also, with the budget, our India will have a growing in the atomic power and in the also in nuclear power. So, can you say of this question that how can you counter that? Why till now also in the Google also it's showing that why till now also Pakistan is having a great nuclear strategy as compared to India. as we were telling that in the previous year also, India is still growing in the nuclear power plants and atomic power is also growing on. Why China and as well as Pakistan, they are also growing. What India is doing till now?
Well, when you talk about the nuclear power, I completely agree on your point that India is behind Pakistan and China in terms of nuclear power. That is because of the very fact that in the present century and in the past few decades, even you have also noticed that India is focusing on the entrepreneurship and the educational sector more in comparison of the nuclear power. Moreover, to tell you that India know it very well that nuclear power is something which as a country we should have, but at the end using one nuclear bomb or one atomic bomb to destroy another country is completely against the ethical policies of India. That's why we as the government of India focusing on the educational and the economical sector is more important in today's in today's time. That's why we are focusing more on that in comparison of the nuclear part. And I think that is a very genuine reason why India is behind in terms of the number of atomic bombs we have.
One more question only.
Sure. And I would like to add on that if you see the condition of Pakistan and India, India is more developed in terms of education, more developed in terms of economically. It's more developed, and that is what makes the difference. No one is going to count the number of atomic bombs, the difference between the atomic bomb number. What people in today's world count is who is more economically powerful, who is more educationally literate. And therefore, yeah, your next question, please.
My next question is that you know that uranium, xenon, radon, and these all are the means alpha, beta, gamma. These are the atomic means power that every country must have. I have a question to counter you that on 2020 during the Corona period, what would happen if in the Arunachal side in that area China would throw any alpha particles attack on India? Then how would India tackle with that? Because you say that India is
Can you repeat the question and can just give a little bit information about what you are speaking, because I think your voice is fluctuating. Just repeat it once in short.
1 minute.
Please ask your question.
Anyone else?
I want to ask one.
Yeah, go forward.
So you talked about that India will lead world by 2030 in renewable energy. So
I nowhere have mentioned that. Sorry to interrupt. I have nowhere mentioned that India will be leading in renewable energy in 2030. What I have mentioned that India will become a country which will be able to fulfill its own need with the help of renewable energy and will be able to bring down the level of pollution, especially in the capital. I have made a point that by 2070, India will become a country whom other countries will look up to in terms of renewable energy. That was my point.
Yeah. So today, like a lot of renewable energy is in Europe and countries like North American countries. So my question was that like these energies are really expensive. For example, in hydrogen energy, a lot of projects have failed as they are not feasible economically. So when supplying this energy to local people, how cost factor will be seen?
Look, anything which will be beneficial will cost a lot. Same as in the case of renewable energy. When we talk about the fossil fuel, digging them out of the earth, providing them, like bringing the fossil fuel out, taking out petroleum, petrol, and natural gases out of them also cost a lot. And transporting petroleum and all this stuff is also a major factor which is declining the economy, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of capital. And when we talk about renewable energy, it will cost a lot, but at the same time, it will help us to bring down the rate of pollution. And that should be the main concern of humanity in today's world. Technology, if developing at such a fast rate, then why can't we invest in something which will help us to, protect our mother planet? Because we all know that protect and prevent are far better than repent and repair. And that can only be made possible with the help of renewable energy. Though it will cost a lot, but at the same time, have you heard like windmills, they are too big and they cost a lot, right? You agree with me on this point, right?
Yeah.
There have been a new technology, and that windmill is just this big in size, and you can place it on the top of your house. It won't be costing you a lot, but it will protect the environment. So the cost factor is being tackled by the environmentalists and scientists. New technologies are coming forward. What we need to do at the present moment is educate people about them. Instead of investing in such huge windmill, you can get the small windmill, place them at the top of your house, protect the environment, and you yourself will gain a lot. You won't will have to pay that huge electricity bill. You can draw the energy from that windmill, which will be just this big in size.
Yeah. So don't you think that there should be a balance between the non-renewable sources and renewable sources of energy? Like, it's still, if we see the cost factor, for earlier years, we don't have technology. So yeah, it will be some expense.
Actually, when we talk about the balance between renewable and non-renewable energy, it should be maintained, but it can be maintained when at this present moment we have to stop using the non-renewable energy, because they are getting exhausted with every passing year. We have to we have to lead up to the goal of sustainable development. We have to protect them for the future generation rather than completely utilizing them for our own self. And as you talked about the cost factor, I have already answered it.
Ganesha Sachdeva, please come forward with your question.
I just wanted to ask that you have mentioned about the petroleum usage.
Is it possible for you to switch on your camera, because it will be more interactive for me to answer?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was asking that if you say that petroleum, India would lead in a sense, would lead in petroleum. What was the statement? But I just want to question you about how will you produce petroleum at this point of time? Petroleum needs millions of years to be produced. How could you say that we will use petroleum on our own, like we will use the petroleum in our own country? Because we don't have that much of petroleum, and that is the basic reason why we are importing it from the other countries like Saudi Arabia and all of that.
Well, actually, when we talk about the case of petroleum, it is a non-renewable fuel which will take a million and billion of years to be formed. And to tackle that problem, we have the new green hydrogen policy in our plan, which will help the vehicle to run on them. Moreover, you must have heard, I mentioned a point of petroleum, and there I meant that we have to take out petroleum from those states where it is available and it is not taking out because of the lack of technology. We have to develop in the technological sector in order to gain that petroleum which is there but is not being utilized just because of the factor that we are lacking in technology. Moreover, of course, we cannot use the entire petroleum because we have to lead up to the goal of sustainable development. And for that, you must have heard of the e-vehicles which run on the electricity, right? We have to promote them. And that's the thing.
Moreover, I agree on your point. I agree
sorry
on the EV point.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the time is over. It's time for another ministry to present their budget.
Thank you, Shivani.
Thank you for
Just
your
making
questions, everyone.